From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your North Coast Neighborhood Forecast.
Everything Medical has been your complete source for medical supplies since 2007. Our 10,000 square foot showroom has the largest selection of home medical equipment in the North State. We have what you need. Everything Medical, Athens Avenue, Reading.
Well, happy Monday to you all. For many of you, you might be getting the day off, kind of one of those long weekends for some of us, and it looks like we are going to start off with a little bit more sunshine for the coast again, but still pretty hot for the inland areas. But the good news is the temperature is not as hot as they have been inland, and temperatures will be gradually dropping here, especially by the end of the week. Not so much, though, for today. Again, just a slight drop, about 100 degrees inland, but the coast, much cooler. Of course, this is kind of that typical summer type pattern, right, where you do see quite a significant spread between the inland and the coast. But of course, during these heat waves, they tend to be a little bit more dramatic. Here you can see that big ridge of high pressure with a storm up over Canada, another one over the Gulf of Alaska. That, of course, is all being pushed up to our north, and we're remaining fairly sunny for most of us, but still some low clouds and a little bit of fog out along the coast, especially for Eureka this morning. Crescent City, not as much, and I do expect that through the afternoon there may be still a few clouds kind of lingering around, especially for central and northern Humboldt counties for today, but looks like around Crescent City, mainly sunny skies. But there's still good, some of that fog and some of those clouds kind of making their way in along the coast, even for Del Norte County. Now, take a look at Tuesday morning. We're starting to see that fog begin to hug the coast a little bit more, especially in Humboldt. It could make its way up into Del Norte County as well. And then for Tuesday afternoon, it kind of backs off a little bit, but then kind of comes back. So kind of one of those off and on. You'll see some clearing. The fog will kind of come back. A pretty typical pattern that we'll see along the coast. Maybe a bit more sunshine for places like Crescent City. Let's take a look at those marine alerts. Now, around Crescent City southward, you can see that there is a small correct advisory until Tuesday, 3 p.m. And then around Crescent City northward, you're looking at that gale warning. So the wave heights are going to be a bit higher as you head north of Crescent City, and not to mention out into sea. Now, let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures, and you can see we're in the low to mid 50s here, so still pretty cool with those temperatures. But look at the wave heights. So if you notice, you can see especially out towards Crescent City northward, the wave's pretty high. But as you start getting closer right here, you see how the wave heights aren't quite as high for Eureka, and not to mention around Shelter Cove. Now, we'll take you into the forecast, and this is today at about 6 p.m. So you see where it is around Klamath northward. Again, you have to head out, but right along the immediate coast, we are seeing around 3 to 4 feet. Okay, and then we go into Tuesday. The wave heights may drop a little bit, so that certainly is some good news there, especially if you're a boater or a fisherman. Here's a marine forecast for today. Northwest winds at 5 to 15 knots. Waves from the northwest at 8 feet at about 8 seconds, and there's going to be that patchy fog out there. Here's your north coast forecast. Temperature around 78 for Smith River, 66 for Crescent City, 75 for Oric and Orleans, about 98. Now, for Crescent City, I do expect probably to see more sunshine than, say, Eureka, for example. But eventually, we'll probably see more clouds coming in later this week. And taking you southward, looks like Hoopa, about 100 degrees, 101 for Willow Creek, so obviously much warmer inland as we typically would see, and then heading southward into Ferndale at 69, 70 for Hydesville, Rio Dell about 70 degrees, and there's your 7-day forecast in Fortuna. Temperatures around 70 today and tomorrow, and then temperatures will start to drop going into especially the end of the week. Looking for high of 73 for Shelter Cove, 89 for Honeydew, and it looks like Redway, a high of about 95 degrees. That 7-day forecast for Eureka. Mainly cloudy skies here for your Monday and Tuesday, and especially for Tuesday. And then those clouds kind of sticking around with temperatures upper 50s to low 60s by Thursday through the weekend.